Do not attempt to adjust your computer. There is nothing wrong. We have taken control as to bring you this special show. The Mothership flies once again into cyberspace. My name is Dobie Maxwell, also known as the King of Uranus. To my right, to your left, Greg DeGuire, uber geek, and I mean that in a friendly, in a customer service kind of a way. He knows all there is about conspiracies, UFOs, Kennedy assassination, and more. To his right, to your left, is Carrie Turner, our millennial falcon. Hello, Carrie.
Hello, Dobie.
And we have our guest from before. James Mahoney is an author, and we can't get him out of here. So he's going to join us in a friendly and a customer service kind of a way. Now, Greg, this is episode number 27, I believe. Is that
yeah.
Yep. So, and you wanted to do something with DNA. Now, I've known you a long time. You swore you were never going to get a DNA test.
I don't remember what episode it was on either, but he disclaimed this.
Even before,
somewhere in there.
Even before that, before we started doing this incarnation of the show, you
really?
talked against it.
Yep, I did.
For years.
So here's the thing. As it turns out, these DNA test kits were the number one Christmas gift of the 2017 Christmas gift-giving season. So, of course, my dad sends me 23andMe. Welcome to you. This is a saliva collection kit.
A stocking stuffer.
Stocking stuffer. So, here's the deal. Dad lives in Tennessee, so I guess it'd be my stepmom, Mary.
A lot of people drooling down there.
Yep, lots of droolers.
A lot of DNA tests just got bib cup.
So she did this test, and hers came back 15% Neanderthal, which raises a lot of questions. First question I had was, well, I thought everyone was part Neanderthal. Wasn't that part of the human? When you look at the human evolutionary cartoon, there's the monkey, there's the Neanderthal, there's us, and then there's a robot.
There's the bear fan.
Then there's the bear fan, right. So I guess we were all part Neanderthal. Turns out not as much. Neanderthals were in a specific region in Europe. Thank you, school, for being terrible at explaining things. So the other question is, if you're highly religious, you don't believe in Neanderthals. Because there's no such thing as evolution.
And you said this company was Christian-based, too.
So I have to wonder what the deal. So we have a religious cultist. What? So
you want me to?
Well, evolution. I mean, so how far back? I mean, what's the deal, man?
Well, as far as evolution and creation,
right?
Yeah. Okay. So Christianity rejected evolution mostly, but in now the modern times, a lot of Christians are accepting evolution along with there being a God that created the world. It's just that God uses evolution as a process by which He creates.
So even God uses monkeys as a lab animal.
Right. You know,
it never ends. These poor little bastards.
Now, what is involved in this kit?
I'm glad you asked, because I've just opened the kit so we didn't hear all the plasticky stuff. But welcome to you.
This is the first time he's opening it, too.
Yep.
We don't know what's in it.
Hi.
Christmas card.
Let's get started.
Let's get personal.
And the winner is... So, okay, they invite me to share my experience. Pass. We are excited for you to begin this journey, and we want you to know we are here to help. Whether it's questions about our service or how to get started, we have resources available to you. Well, what resources could they possibly have? Do they already have my DNA to know if I'm doing the kit wrong? The other question I have is, there was a lady who did this test kit a couple of years ago. She was on the radio. She's African American. She sent her test kit in, and she came back 80% Caucasian. The testers swear by their tests, so they say there are two possibilities. Someone used their spit instead of yours, or your family lied to you about your genetic makeup. Perhaps you were adopted and they never told you. Wow. That's a statement, isn't it?
It is.
So, again, I brought this up in the past as far as what the government wants to know. They want to know our DNA. They want to know where you live. They want to know how much money you make. It's in all the commercials. You get the new app for Zillow on your phone. Find out where to live. Here's the new app for payment. I don't even carry money anymore. Just wave my phone in the air and money evaporates from my account. Why? We've talked about this before. Why does the government want all this stuff? Just to know what we're doing? Why do they need our DNA? We're going to bring this back to Noah's Ark. What if Noah didn't have two of every animal? What if it was just a vial full of saliva and DNA?
Well, the boat would be a lot smaller.
Yeah.
Well, who's going to build a boat that big?
That's
I mean,
my point.
how the hell do you do that?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a very good point.
All right, so before mailing, I have to register my kit. I didn't register yet. I didn't know I had to do that. Of course I have to. So no food or drink for 30 minutes, so that rules out testing right now. Spit to full line. How much? That's a lot of spit.
It's about a gallon.
It's right here too. It's on here.
I got to throw open this thing.
You're going to get dehydrated.
Yeah.
Close funnel, detached funnel, screw on cap, seal in bag, mail in kit. Sorry for the plasticky noise. Of course, it's child-proof. Wait a minute, I think I got a beat on it
Also
now.
logic proof.
Well, okay. There we go. Register. Here's the vial. So, I got to hawk loogies up to here.
No.
Do it
That's a
now.
lot of- I'm saying it, that's a lot of...
You just have to drool.
Oh,
That's a
and
lot of
very
drool, man.
detailed instructions right here.
Is it in English or Mandarin Chinese? What do I got there?
English.
Well, here's the
All
vial.
English.
I have to spittle this much. That's a lot. There's some saline, so what does it say to that? What's in the cap? What is that? Is magic fluid, or is that like a sealing?
Doesn't say it in the basic instructions. Let's see.
Bitch.
You're gonna have to actually read for this. I will let you know.
Anyways, I thought it was interesting that this was the #1 gift, all about genetics tests. And you see the commercial. Again, it's an African American lady who turns out that she's 23% Nigerian, and she gets all these Nigerian garments and wants to go visit Nigeria so she can rediscover her heritage. Here's the thing: DNA tells you what you are, but not who you are. So I don't understand the draw. So what if I find out that I'm 50% Jewish? I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm just saying does that mean that I have to convert? I have to go visit Israel? I mean, does it mean anything? Thoughts?
Bye bacon.
Well, I'm just saying why is there such an avid interest that people need to know if their heritage was right or wrong? So if your parents mistakenly said, well, we're Eastern European, and then it turns out you're Russian. Geez, is that a deal breaker? I don't understand what went wrong. Anybody?
By the way, this is
Chime
2 milliliters of stabilizing fluid. And then do you add that to your spit?
I mean, the other idea might be that they're trying to keep track of people so that they can test to see who's genetically better to survive a Noah's like apocalypse.
I hadn't even thought
So
of that.
when the
That's
mothership does
brilliant.
land, you got your ins, you got your outs. Now, according to this, we're going to take it a little different direction, but as we are recording this, I don't know if you guys knew this, the nation of China is allegedly declaring basically that their UFOs do exist. They went to the moon, and they're disclosing all kinds of alien, information. Now, think about it. If aliens discover Chinese people first, we are all selfish. We think that, okay, most of the people that watch or hear happen to be Caucasian. Well, what if that's not the direct species that aliens look at us as? There's how many? 1 billion Chinese?
Yeah.
What if they're the ones? Or Africans? Suppose that's where life started.
They got better takeout food, too.
But then on the Africans, you have the Swahilis that are 7 feet tall for a specimen. You have the Pygmies that are 4 feet tall. So we have a different smorgasbord buffet of human DNA here. So maybe they want. I don't know either. Now, according to Bonnie Meyer, who was a guest on our radio show, Bonnie Meyer said there are 61 documented aliens that she knows about. The different species of aliens that are watching us. And
That's a lot.
A lot of them. And that's the only ones that are documented.
Nanu.
She said some are friendly, some hate us. Most of them don't care about us. We are just basically flies, and they're looking for
They swat us.
resources. Yeah, seriously. So again, not saying it's true. I'm not saying I believe it. All I'm saying is these are theories that we have had espoused in the past, and it's interesting because I think we all think, well, we're the specimen. Well, if the alien lands and picks up 14 Chinese people, it's like, where's my laundry?
So, if they're looking for specific genetic traits to be able to survive all this stuff, I'm going to turn this into yet another direction. Are they looking for the most smart humans or the most clever? And which is better to have? Which is a better trait to have, being smart or being clever?
I say smart.
Okay.
I say clever. We had a talk about this over lunch the other day because he's been watching a documentary called Dirty Money. And you could explain that, but I thought cleverness because you can get yourself into and out of situations.
If you're clever enough, that doesn't mean you have to be smart enough. So there's a documentary on Netflix called Dirty Money. Episode 1 is all about how Volkswagen cheated the system with defeat devices on their clean-burning diesel. Watch that. This changes your whole spectrum of thinking. Episode 2 is about the payday loan scandal. Payday loans is a guy by Scott. Now I don't remember his last name. So payday loans, the maximum loan was $500. So people living paycheck to paycheck, say your car breaks down, you don't have enough money. So you go to this online form. There are 9 states in the lower 48 that prohibit this activity, but the rest of them don't. So you fill out this form online, and you get a check for $500 to get you through to the next paycheck. It's described online that they're going to take a portion out of your check for the loan. That's key. I'll come back to that. So your next paycheck comes, you see the $45 out, boom, we're on our way to repaying the loan back. But after a few weeks, the amount of monies I was taking out more than equates what the loan was for. So these people call in and say, hey, what the hell's going on? I've been paying down the loan. I said, no, you haven't. That $45 is a loan renewal fee. You needed to pay the full amount of the very next check. That's part of the fine print of a PDF file that you had to download before actually signing up for the monies, see? So they call up the home office in it was Arkansas or something like that to say, well, you can't put me on your no-call list. I don't want you people calling for my loans anymore. Well, tough because the real home office is in Oklahoma. We're owned by an Indian tribe. Can't touch us. Laws don't come to us. We are our own nation, and we can do what you want. You want after us, you got to get the federal government after us. This is all thought up with this guy, Scott. And with the billions of dollars he made off these monies, he turned into a race car driver, raced the IndyCar circuit and road circuit, became a really, really good driver. So, getting the Indians involved and having them be your home office so that no state law can touch you no matter what state you're in, only the federal government. And by the time they got wind of this, he's a billionaire 5 times over. So does that make him clever or smart?
Devious.
Yeah.
Definitely devious.
Yeah. I was shocked to watch this. Like, you've got to be joking. It's absolutely unimaginable that some guy would use the Indian nation, a particular nation in Oklahoma, I forget which one. And the Indians knew that this guy, he just wanted to use our office as a P.O. box. He gave us a little cut of the deal, and it was a good business deal for us. We made a lot of money.
Well, I'm sure Chief Bulging Wallet got a little cut of that too.
Like, holy cow, man. And the prosecutors kept calling this guy very clever. Like, well, he wasn't, in his interviews, he didn't come across as very smart. But to do what he did, it had to have been very clever. And that's what got me asking the question. Which is it better to be, smart or clever? So, this DNA test may prove some type of intelligence, but your environment makes you clever, not necessarily smart. I mean, you can go to school to be smart, but is that going to make you clever? And I'm saying that I believe that there's a difference between smarts and cleverness. Or am I a moron? I could be a moron.
Get you in or out of things.
Right.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
As we come to a pregnant pause where all of our circuits are fried in our brain and we have no idea.
It was a lot. It was a lot to think about.
Was that a question posed in the show too, or did you?
No,
think of
it
that?
was the question that I thought of because it got me thinking. Because I don't believe I'm very smart, but I've been clever enough to come out of a few things, or I haven't been clever enough to figure out answers to puzzles. And like, geez, if I was a little bit more clever, I would have thought to do it this way instead of that way. And that's what got me thinking: which is better to be, clever or smart?
I think clever is definitely beneficial on a evolutionary sense of it. Because when you look at evolution, how it makes all the different species, you can't really say that they're really intelligent like we are, but they're clever enough to survive the environment long enough. Obviously certain species have gone extinct, but there's enough of them that have been clever enough to survive many different situations, either from predators or from the environment. So I think cleverness is something that's probably in all of us.
So I think cleverness might actually be a genetic trait.
That could be.
I think it's probably installed for survival purposes.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Definitely.
I
think
agree.
it would be.
Definitely.
Yeah. I think a bear or a lion, if they were chasing us, they don't have to be clever.
Yeah.
Because they're programmed or shark.
Right.
Eat,
Yeah,
eat more.
As the one that's being chased, I'd have to be clever enough. If I can't outrun it, how can I outwit it enough to get by without being eaten?
Well, you always hear stories where you're supposed to act big, lift your coat and which exactly, or run at a.
Yeah, you know how to get out of a crocodile chasing you, right?
Get in your
Go
car.
zigzag.
Yeah, and you have time to. Who's going to think of time to zig? Did I zig? Did I zag?
Did I do either?
Did I do either?
MapQuest told me to go that way, but now I have to go that way. So, anyways, I thought that was just an interesting trait because, again, DNA doesn't make you who you are. I mean, it's what you are, but that doesn't make you who you are. We're all products of our environment, and I can't get past. I mean, I get commercials have production values, and commercials prey on people's emotions to get you to do things, but I don't understand where we got in society to make it that important to where, if this test kit turns out that I'm from somewhere else, is it going to have that kind of life-ending event that I have to move to South Africa or who knows where else to be with my people? I guess I don't understand that at all whatsoever. I mean, this is home.
Well, now you're going to send this in?
Totally, yeah. I'm not going to spit on camera because that's disgusting. And it's an awful lot of spittle. So I'm going to have to...
Well, it's better than having to pee in that thing.
That'd be a really good aim.
Don't forget to put your stabilizing fluid in there.
Yeah, I gotta find out what's in that stabilizing fluid. Anyways,
You
I
put
thought
that
that
in
was.
with the spit?
I'm gonna actually have to read the instructions, of which I won't do on the show because as viewers would be clicking to other channels. Like that.
They already are. What
They
are you
are,
talking
yeah.
about?
Well, again, it was the #1 Christmas gift, so a lot of people have done this. So anyone watching the show, I would love to hear feedback. If it came back that it turned out that you were if your parents emigrated from France and it turns out you're Czechoslovakian or you're Spanish or what have you. I mean, did it actually change your life? Did it change your thinking? Did it make you hate your parents? Did you want to find out more? What was the impact that it had on you? I'm curious to talk to other people that have had this happen to you. And did your test come back being 10% Neanderthal too? And how in the hell did that happen?
Do you know what else she was in that test?
Of the typical of what she thought she was, of her heritage that was brought down by her family, what her family taught her that her ethnicity was, that's kind of where it went to.
Okay.
Just the Neanderthal bit was a bit of an odd, it's like,
Yeah.
wow, what in the hell is that? That's just strange.
Right.
Because again, I thought we were all evolved from cavemen at some point in time. I mean, I
think they're still figuring a lot of that out. There's evolutionary theory, but they haven't found every single species. I don't think yet.
It's a missing links.
So the question that I have is, how do they get Neanderthal DNA from some caveman specimen that they found in the ice and they put it on National Archives? Now they know it.
Spit it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So they must have got it.
Spit.
Clearly, they got it from a preserved carcass somewhere.
Yeah, somehow they
But
did.
people travel. What if that's not where that guy was from? Mm-hmm. Are they saying, well, this is the Iceland guy, so now he must have been from Iceland? I mean, maybe I'm overthinking this, but I think there's a lot of questions.
It's really
I think it's the government watching us no matter what we do. When our name comes up, they don't have to watch us all the time. You get pulled over for a speeding ticket, plug into Mr. DeGuire, he's spittled into there, he comes from Neptune, his whole family, they dropped him off.
We learned that with Tammy last episode, too. I mean, they were eavesdropping on her phone calls 2 weeks later after talking to her.
Mm-hmm.
They know. Don't think that they don't know, because they know.
But who are they? Are they our elected official? I think it goes a little bit higher than that. What if it's the aliens themselves that are making us a specimen? Anyone as a kid, you put grasshoppers in a jar, or butterflies, or fireflies, or
Ants
something.
in a magnifying glass.
That's what they're doing to us.
See,
They're
now,
going to get the species to take us back.
I was afraid to do this because I thought I was giving the government too much. Whatever government's going to hold on to my DNA after they're done with it.
You were solid on that point,
I was
too.
solid on that point. But after watching yet another documentary on Netflix, the government has software as far as voter registration goes. I forget the name of the software, but this episode talks about it. So, if you've ever voted in your entire lifetime, they have the districts broken down by maps. They know where you were registered to vote, where you voted, what address you lived in. They already know it all, only from voting. If you've ever voted, they've got you on a map, and they know whether you voted Democratic or Republican. They have it all traced back. It's called gerrymandering. So the incumbent gets to redraw the maps to make it easier for them to win the next election.
I voted for the rabbit to have trick cereal.
Yes.
That's how I voted.
His tricks aren't always for kids, but now he can change the district to make that actually a legal possibility. The
Cocoa
tricks
Puffs.
can be for kids.
Strawberry Smiggles.
Strawberry Smiggles, yes. Anyways, I guess
Boo Berry.
Ooh.
Blueberry.
Count Chocula.
Count Chocula. Always a good one. What's your favorite cereal? And then you kind of
Waffle Crisp.
Hindu cereal.
No, Hindu cereal, just regular granola. That's what I like.
Regular
Really?
granola.
I like Waffle Crisp.
It goes through you like a 9-iron through wet sand. Like a Canadian quarter through a vending machine.
Like, I guess I know I go on and on about the government watching us, and I thought for sure that this was going to be the be-all, end-all of them watching us, but now that I've seen the software about voting, so they know everything about that, and when you use the smartphones, they got you there too. Now this fingerprint technology where you just need your fingerprint, well, they got you there too. And I'm sure there's retina scans out there, I'm sure they got you there too. But I guess... Chip readers, so they know where you've shopped, they know what you're doing. I guess I'd feel better if they would come out and say, well, this information's on file for about a week and then it's automatically dumped to make room for more data. But they keep it. They keep it forever and ever and ever.
Not everything.
And the million-dollar question that no one has an answer to is why? What could possibly be that important that we're doing in our normal do-nothing lives, going to work and trying to live in a white man's world? I mean, what could be so important that they need to know absolutely all of our moves? It just doesn't add up. There's got to be something else to it. And what that is, I'm afraid I don't know. I'm not clever enough to know that answer.
We will know by the next episode. So if
to make sure we don't achieve the American dream.
As Trump said, the system's rigged.
Mm-hmm.
We're draining the swamp.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to drain the swamp into this vial.
Wasn't that an episode on the show you were watching too?
Oh,
on Trump?
Yeah, how he got to be what he was today. So, anyone who wants to know what I'm talking about, the documentary's on Netflix. One of them's called Dirty Money. It's like 6 different episodes. One's about how Volkswagen cheated the system with defeat devices. One is about the payday loan scandal. One is all about Trump being a businessman, and maybe he isn't a businessman, about how his ventures went wrong and how he got to be president. There's another documentary called The Naked Truth. Naked Truth, there's like 10 episodes. Fascinating stuff. It kind of reminds you what a crappy world we live in. It's all about the rich wanting to get richer, and those who haven't want more of it, and how they keep it away from everybody else. Yeah, I guess everybody knew that, but these shows are really hammering it home that you can't win.
The question is the rest of the universe like that? You got to believe that this is not the only place where.
Well, you don't see deer screwing each other over.
How do you know that?
I guess I don't know that.
There might be a deer economy out there. You don't know.
Dead on the side of the road. Next thing you know, their relatives are laughing at him, trying to get the horns.
Fred and Ralph are on the side of the road. Fred pushes Ralph into the car, so Fred lives. I guess I don't.
It becomes
I don't
president.
know.
You don't
Yeah,
know.
Fred becomes president. Costs him a couple of bucks. Thank you. So.
Know the difference between beer nuts and deer nuts?
Deer nuts are under $1. Oh.
Beer nuts are $1.95. Deer nuts are under $1.
All right. Well, that's all. I guess that's all that I got about the genetics and government watchdog. So
we'll have a follow-up episode on this.
There'll be a follow-up. Again, I don't want to hawk loogies on camera, but as soon as I send it in, it would be. It might be. So as soon as I get the results back, then we'll go after.
So when Greg comes back in Anunnaki clone, the mothership will land.
He might come back 100% Neanderthal, but we're not
No,
sure yet.
No, Carrie, let's, for a few minutes left, let's talk about, we met a guy, let's not go too far into this, we met a guy who can stick cans and stuff on his head. He's been in all the talk shows. What's his card say? That Mr. Can, the
so
Can
it's
Man?
Canhead, but his real name is Jamie Keaton.
Let's. So, anyways, we met him at a store here in town, and I had a lot of questions for him, and a lot of this, and I asked him if he'd ever done a genetics test because he has a very peculiar blood type. And what RH?
RH.
BO
I don't know if
extra
there was
negative.
Something after that.
Yeah, it's a complicated blood type that I've never even heard of before.
If he cuts himself shaving, he has to find a Vulcan and a werewolf.
Yeah.
Transfusion.
So what? So he gets.
It would.
We're in the same aisle at the store, so I'm talking to Greg, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, we have 1,000 views on one of our videos, and that's impressive for us, for our 4 viewers watching. So
After today's show, yes, it's
so
miraculous.
So this person behind me goes, "Oh, I got 19 million views," and I kind of look at this guy. I'm like, "Who is talking to me like this?" And I'm like, he looks kind of familiar, so I ask him. I say, "All right, what's the video you have that's 19 million views?" And he says, "He's the Canhead. He was on Ellen. He was on Jimmy Fallon. He was on James Corden. He was on a bunch of talk shows."
And all because he can stick stuff to his head.
3 Guinness World Records.
But there's some kind of composition in his blood that makes him do this, and there's only 4 of the human beings on the planet that have this special composition. And I would like for, here's the thing, he says when he goes on these talk shows, they all try to debunk him, or they all try to stick stuff to his head. I don't care about any of that stuff. I want to know more about his blood. What makes him that way, and if he's ever done a genetics test to show if he's got something different, because he claimed the type of blood that he had is called the blood of the gods. So, what gods is he talking about?
Big G or little G?
Big G, little G. He's talking about Hindu gods? Is he talking about Anunnaki gods? Is he talking about Big G? I don't know. So, him of all people, I think would be fascinating to get a genetics test on, or some kind of blood sample test to find out what makes him what happens.
Because I've seen documentaries and the doctors still don't know what it is. What makes it the way it is. So
fascinating.
Maybe we can get it done on our show.
Yeah.
The can head. I've been trying to get famous since 1987. The can head gets 19 million hits.
19 million.
I am going to
hits.
I'm going to suck the business out of a revolver and put a chimney in my skull. Until then, hopefully we'll have another episode. Thanks to James Mahoney for joining us. Hold up your book one more time, James. We might have an extra viewer. Wisdom of a Hindu Epic. It is the page-turner feel-good hit of the summer.
My parents almost named me Paige Turner, by the way.
Paige Turner. Thank God they did. She is our Millennial Falcon. Carrie Turner operates everything, along with her love stud Adam, who is our technical.
Hi,
love stud.
Hi.
He's in the back setting up our next 8-track player. He's going back.
Maybe we're going up to a 45.
You never know.
See.
Greg McGuire is here too in his camouflage. We'll be back next week to see what planet he is from and join us as the mothership flies once again. Thanks for watching. I'm Dobie Maxwell. It's always good when it comes from Uranus.